straight on while we're having fun.
Yeah, it was recording for the first segment as well. Just so. Right. Okay. So, right. Okay. So let me just, yeah. Okay. Let's do this. So, do you want to do the opening remarks for the second segment, please, bro?
Yeah. Okay, welcome people to the second segment today of our podcast, The Football Referee. I'm Trevor Gear and he calls me Bruv.
And I'm Emmy Hickins, and he calls me Cuz. Welcome to the second segment of the football referee. Now, this it says contract talks remain ongoing, but Los Blancos are unwilling to improve their offer unless Vinicius lowers his wage demand, potentially opening doors for Arsenal. How would it be? All right. So would he be able to fit into the Premier League, Vinicius Junior?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I thought I saw yesterday that Real Madrid have blocked it anyway. Now,
Yeah.
I think they don't really want him to go there. As to
No.
whether he could fit in, it's a good question. And of course, the obvious answer which comes to mind is, yeah, he's a very good footballer. Of course, he would fit in. But I suppose it would matter if the team he would go to plays a system that would enable him to be part of that. Yeah, I mean he's clearly a brilliant footballer. I mean, you wouldn't be playing quite a long time for Real Madrid if you were not. So yeah, I think any British team, English team that could get him in the Premier League, I think would utilise him and find they've got an absolute star on their hands. He's a great player. So I was a little bit disappointed that it was ruled out by Real Madrid, partly because we seem to be on a slightly one-way track here, where we seem to lose every season one or two more of our top players. I mean, I'm just trying to think of anyone who's gone recently. I can't think of anyone, but I know there's talk of sort of somebody else possibly going to Bayern Munich. I can't think who that is at the minute, but we seem to be losing some of our top players to the other leagues, and not so much replenishing them with European talent or South American or whatever. So yeah, I hope we do get players, big name players like Junior, because he's such a good and famous player and a great player. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether anyone else may be en route to us, because of course the transfer window goes on surprisingly, in my mind, to the beginning of September. And you think it might be better to close it right before the season starts. But whether that's because across Europe, different leagues start at different time, I don't know.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it'd be nice to have Vinicius Junior in the Premier League, but um, yeah, I didn't think it was gonna go through. So I read the same thing that you read,
Mm.
about him. Finally, they decided to keep him at Real Madrid. But I just thought, how good would it have been if,
Yeah,
it,
and he had kind of fallen out a bit. I think I can't remember the details now, but he had fallen out with Real Madrid, didn't he? So maybe they've made up friends again, and he'll have another good season with them, I expect.
Hmm. I'll tell you what could have influenced the making up. I'm gonna read this article. So it says Vinicius Junior has built one of football's biggest commercial empires with 16 global sponsorship deals, including Nike, Pepsi, PlayStation, Prada, Visa, and Gatorade. As part of his current Real Madrid contract, the Brazilian reportedly gives the club around 50% of his image rights income, meaning
Well,
Madrid can earn millions from his off the pitch brand deals as well as his performances on the pitch. So the size of Vinicius Vinicius's commercial empire is also believed to be one of the key topics in his ongoing contract negotiations with the
Mm.
club. You can see that, can't you? You can just see
Yeah,
why. I mean, if I was Real Madrid, I wouldn't let him go. He'd go get 50%
it's, it's obvious, isn't it?
of it. Yeah, it is obvious. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I wonder if Arsenal would have got that instead if he would have been
yeah.
transferred.
Well, I
So
don't think Real Madrid could have continued to get that. But I mean,
mm,
you think footballers today, the top footballers, they have huge payments for their image rights, and probably their clubs do always benefit to some degree of that. But
mm,
that wasn't something. If you, I don't know, you go back 20 years, or maybe. I mean, the Premier League started. What was it in the early 90s? I think. And I think it took 10 years to really find its feet commercially. Always been a success. But I guess, the last 20, 25 years, the image rights are an increasingly huge part of a player's income, not to mention their sponsorships and stuff like that. So it's almost like their club salaries or wages are a lesser part of their global income these days. So it's
yeah,
a lucrative place to be, Premier League football or international football.
it is. And that just reminded me of musicians' contracts as well, because sometimes you do have that sort of thing with a record label and they'll take a certain
Mm,
percentage of the, musicians' commercial
yeah,
sponsorship deals and stuff like that. But anyway, now Premier League. This is the predictions for how the table's gonna end.
yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah,
Oh, did you? All right.
well, did our Crystal Palace 10th, and then
10. No, Bournemouth is 10.
all right, where were Palace then?
Palace is 12.
Okay, let me just find my one to counteract your one then. Anyway, keep talking. I am
Right.
listening.
So this is according to AI. So it's put Arsenal at the top to win a game. Arsenal. And
Right.
then Man City
Yeah.
um, to be runners up, followed by
So
Chelsea. Go
I'll
on.
carry on reading down, and then I'll tell you where it differs. So I agree. The first two: Arsenal top, Man City. My
Yeah.
third is Liverpool.
Okay. So Liverpool is fourth on this one.
Right. Well, Chelsea are fourth on this one.
Chelsea's Chelsea's
Yeah.
third on this one. Yeah.
Then Villa and Man U fifth and sixth.
Yeah. So you have Aston Villa is fifth.
Yeah.
Newcastle is sixth.
Okay. Well, I've got Newcastle seventh and
Yeah.
Tottenham eighth. Well, I'll just read on. Brighton ninth, Palace
Yeah.
10th,
Yeah.
Bournemouth 11th, Brentford 12, Fulham 13, Everton
Yeah.
14, 15 Leeds, 16 Nottingham Forest, 17 Sunderland, 18 Ipswich. And I've not got that on the screenshot, but is it probably the three clubs that are coming up? I reckon they're going down, don't they? And
Yeah.
I
So
think there's a
Coventry.
chance
Yeah.
that will happen. I think it
Yeah.
will happen again.
So Coventry, Hull, City, and Ipswich are the ones that are going to be relegated according to this. So,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
let's see how true
You
this.
see if it works like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, yeah. Well, AI is predicting everything, so why not football? You know.
Yeah. No, that's
Now,
right. Yeah.
yeah. Now in the World Cup, there's
Yeah.
there's one there's one player that was underrated a little bit, but actually shone quite a lot, and that is Jude Bellingham. He scored three more goals than Cristiano Ronaldo in the World Cup.
Mm. He got
Cristiano
seven,
Ronaldo,
didn't he? Was it seven?
he got seven
Yeah.
goals. Yes,
Seven.
he got seven goals. You know, it could have easily been the highest goal scorer for.
Mm.
It could have easily won the Golden Boot if anything had happened to Mbappe. and he didn't play in
Yeah.
the finals. But lucky for Mbappe, he's played in the finals. Now, there's this thing about FIFA. So let me just see if I can just read it out. So FIFA president Gianni Infantino is planning to sell stakes in the World Cup to private investors. He will do so under a scheme that could potentially earn him tens of millions of pounds. Investor discussions held with figures close to the Trump administration. What do you make of that, Bob? I'm sure you've heard the story or you've seen
Yeah,
this
I've
thing.
looked at this. I've looked at it briefly, and I mean, there's quite a lot of negative reaction around the football world, not least with UEFA.
Hmm,
I mean, UEFA are positively against, I think, positively against FIFA, let alone this
hmm,
particular proposal,
hmm,
and the FA as well, who've got an interest. And I think the big argument against FIFA seems to be that this has all been carrying on, under the radar. That they normally, I mean, I think it's probably true to say, and I'm sure some have said it, FIFA doesn't own football. You could actually say nobody owns football because there's so many stakeholder interests. You've got your players, your clubs, your fans, UEFA, FIFA, all the other federations around the world.
hmm,
No one can really say football is mine. And that's what FIFA seem to be doing, that they think they can sell off to the highest bidders parts of the World Cup. Now, I think what they want to do, I think they've started a company within FIFA called FIFA Forward Enterprise,
enterprise, yeah.
and they want to. They're offering. I mean, FIFA will maintain a majority shareholding in this, but they're offering the rest of it to would-be investors who can obviously pump in a lot of money, which will go, at least some of it, to FIFA, of course.
Hmm,
And it just seems to be diluting something that shouldn't be out commercially in this way. And as you say, it does seem to be a connection with the fact that Infantino is a mate of Trump, because there is an American connection on it as well.
hmm,
So yeah, I mean, the FA are very disappointed. They've made their protests, as have UEFA as well. I
hmm.
think I think FIFA have offered to pay £30 million to the associations that go along with this. There's a real sort of bribe, isn't it, to do that? So there may be, I mean, in football terms, £30 million isn't much money, to be honest. So I don't know. It's early stages, and I don't think we know enough about it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's at a time when people were hoping FIFA might show a bit of backbone and actually at least make comment about the fuss, the furore about Argentina. I mean, that's been a negative legacy of this World Cup.
Hmm.
And you say about Enzo Fernandez, not wanting to come back because they know what happened. They would never admit it, I'm sure, but they would know they were in the wrong. And this 23 million petition to have them thrown out of the next one. And the answer to that, almost within days, was, well, actually, one match is going to be played in Argentina. So, and they're automatically entered. Well, in the past, it's not been automatic entry for the host nation. So even there, they seem to be benefiting. And it's under the guise, I think, that the next World Cup 2030 is 100 years anniversary of the first World Cup. And so I think Paraguay and Uruguay are also going to get one game played in their countries, as is Argentina. But of course, the rest is over this side of things, isn't it? It's in. Just remind me, is it in the Netherlands, Sweden? Is it? I can't remember, but
For the next World Cup,
the next World Cup,
is in Germany. 20, is it 20? All right. Yeah, we're in 2026.
2030. Yeah, yeah.
2030. Um,
But it is
I
in
th
Europe, isn't it? Basically,
yeah, I think they're looking at 64. They're looking at 64
clubs.
countries,
Yeah.
rather than 48 this time. And they're going to play across Europe and America.
Yeah, I mean South America there, which again
South
it
America,
seems
yeah.
to be I mean, I'm all for progression and change. You can't just stuck in the same thing. I don't think the
Yeah.
64 teams has yet been formally agreed, but it's only just gone up to 48, hasn't it? This last
Yeah.
one from 32. And I
Yeah.
mean, there must be some kind of a limit because, especially if you're diluting it across the planet. I mean, I know, travel, you can go across the planet pretty quickly, but hey, it's expensive for fans if they want to go to South America as well. They've got to take that kind of into account. But
Mm,
it's like FIFA are not just progressing it, it's like they're fundamentally altering the structure of the World Cup. And
mm,
maybe to suddenly come out and say, oh, yeah, we also started up this company, FIFA Forward Enterprise, and we're inviting companies to come in and take over large parts of the share structure of that company
mm,
without any consultation with any of the world federations, let alone the associations like the FA.
mm,
It just smacks of, Infantino. I think I'm not sure he's the most popular guy, as was not FIFA president of FIFA before that, and that's Sepp Blatter, who
mm.
incidentally I read has also come out against what FIFA are now planning to do. I mean, Sepp Blatter, of all people, who was banned from football, I think, for a while,
Mm,
um, because of alleged corruption. Whatever was involved, I don't know. But he's come out against it, saying this is not the way forward. So it's going to be an interesting thing to watch now. What happens with this? Ultimately, I get the feeling that Gianni Infantino has got maybe too much individual power, and he's just treading a path that he wants to tread. He'll make a fortune out of it himself, I'm sure. And I'm not sure it's that he can kind of say he or FIFA own football enough to make those decisions. So
mm,
I think there will be a fight on his hands to do
mm,
this.
mm. Yeah. Now, okay, so just before I ask, are there pros to this? Because there bound to be some pros. But anyway, let's just look at it this way. So, isn't football always been commercialized? You have in England, we have
Mm.
Manchester United, they have owners, Liverpool, all these clubs around the world. They have various owners, and what these owners do is they pump money into it and make it
Yeah,
a bit more profitable, a bit more widely available. So these are all investors, and then they try to claw back this money from, the proceeds these clubs bring in. Isn't that the sort of thing that FIFA is going towards? That's always been there anyway.
yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, anything that, well, not anything, but if something's bringing money into the game and it's used within the game, I mean,
Mm,
it's one thing, but you just get the feeling that independent companies will want their own pound of flesh from their
mm,
investment.
mm,
And such money that comes in, I guess, will be not only going to FIFA, but the other federations and so on, which I don't know, will it end up ultimately in the pockets of the top players or a good part of it?
mm,
I don't know whether that's a pro or not. Sometimes it's good to bring in outside investment. I agree. I mean,
mm,
I think it's true to say that the Premier League was quite late to the party of sponsorship on shirts, for example. I mean, now we think nothing. We think that we would notice it if there wasn't a sponsor across a football shirt. It would look a bit strange, as Chelsea did when they were told they couldn't do this, that, and the other, and the sponsor Three, the telephone company, I think, it was
mm,
removed from their shirt, and it looked a bit odd not to have that on there. And of course, since then they've got a new sponsor.
mm,
So sponsorship, I think, is good because that is good for the clubs. Clubs find their own sponsors. I mean, in the last few years, Palace have had, I don't know, two, three, four sponsors. Going back a few years, Virgin actually sponsored Palace for a couple of seasons.
mm.
So I think that can be a good thing when it's channeled the money directly to the clubs, who then would hopefully invest some in the local community, which clubs tend to do nowadays. And I think that's one thing. But if I just one thing I noticed about this
Mm.
um, it says each of FIFA's 211 member associations would also be given a stake worth approximately £15 million, which they could keep or sell. That's the associations like the FA.
Right.
Infantino would then be in line to run the company after he steps down as head of FIFA
Hmm.
in, I think, 2031, I think it is. One proposed investor is Joshua Kushner, a younger brother of President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Now, that may be fine, but that connection does seem to be manifesting itself there, and it may be not suggesting there's anything untoward about that. It
Mm.
probably isn't, because a relative of a president, a prime minister, or anyone else, that they are quite at liberty to take their own business opportunities. So I'm not suggesting otherwise.
Mm.
And good luck to that guy and that company. But it just seems this has been done without um, any discussion with all the powers that be around the world, and that in itself, I don't think sets it up to be a good thing. But
No.
who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I just thought about it. I thought, well, hasn't it always been commercialized? But then it's a question of whose hands is it in, who's profiting,
Yeah.
and that becomes a problem, don't it? Yeah. Now UEFA has voiced their displeasure. They say it crosses the line, or that football's governing institutions should never cross.
Mm.
And then they say football is never for sale. So, yeah. Okay. So, Italy. Now, Italy has not been at I don't remember Italy being at the two previous World Cups, have they?
I think they've not been at the last three.
All
They've
right,
not
okay.
been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So there you go. So Italy hasn't. Now, Roberto Mancini is the new Italy manager. What do we make of that? Roberto Mancini?
Yeah, I mean he's a good manager,
Hmm.
and up until a week or so ago, it did look like that Pep Guardiola was going to go there because they made approaches to him and they said they were prepared to break, if you like, break their salary structure.
Hmm.
That's what teams used to say, clubs used to say when they bought a good player in the Premier League, didn't they? They're prepared to break their salary structure because the point is that doesn't go down well with existing players. But be that as it may, um, and yeah, but they said Pep they're prepared to do that. They didn't say by how much or what it would be.
Hmm.
But apparently, a week or so ago, it seems to be in train this pot. And I thought, well, Pep obviously wants the job because he'd been in negotiations with them. But
Hmm.
apparently he wanted, I think it was £17 million a year. And ultimately, I mean, again, what do we know as outsiders? But from what I read, I gleaned they weren't prepared to go that high. So although they said they would break their normal structure, and I don't know what most international managers get. I mean, it would depend around the world, but uh, I mean, we know that our man Tuchel gets an eight-figure amount. Well, eight figures is at least £10 million a year. So, there's a ballpark probably of 10 or 12 million, but
Hmm.
they wouldn't pay 17. Again, if these reported figures are accurate, we don't know, which apparently is what Pep said he wanted. And in a way, I think it's a bit unfair if someone's leaked that because it doesn't look so good on somebody if they're sort of almost being greedy and saying, I want that. It may be nothing of the sort. He may have put down a few feelers of what ballpark he's looking at, but he might be prepared to negotiate it. Who knows? It's probably done through his agent and all the rest of it. But
Hmm.
yeah, that seems to be the surface story that has come up that they wouldn't break the bank, if you like, for him. And so they've given the job to Roberto Mancini, who I think was
Hmm.
also manager of Manchester City once, I believe.
Yeah.
Sure he was. So yeah, I mean, I think there is a bit of a merry-go-round of some of these managers, often Italian or other nationalities, who seem to do a good job. Jose Mourinho, he's a very good manager. I still think he's very good. And there's a level of high-level managers who get the main jobs, I guess. So it suggests that Pep may take another job. Not, I think, in this country, but he may take another job. The fact that he was considering becoming manager of Italy. It's a
Yeah.
big step for somebody, isn't it, who's been a club manager? Because although in some ways you might say, well, that's better. I've done a few years as club manager, day in, day out, and all the rest of it. It'll be nice to be able to go and watch matches around the world at the weekend, see other teams, and get the players together. I don't know, once every 6 weeks or so. It's a step down from the pressure in one sense. So I would have thought that might suit Pep, but who knows? We don't know the facts. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I think Robert Mancini, he's Italian, isn't he? So um, I think he's Roberto Mancini, I think he is. So it's natural that he's taking on his national side's job, I suppose.
Mm, mm, yeah. Now, this next one is about the World Cup regarding Argentina again. Now, IFAB, the organization in charge of setting football rules, have confirmed that Bril Embolo should not have been sent off against Argentina at the World Cup. They issued a statement on the misuse of VAR during the World Cup. The body has established that video review can intervene in cases of error regarding the identity of a cautioned player, but not to overturn the sanction, particularly in situations involving simulation. Now, again, Argentina is being dragged into this thing. What would be an ideal punishment for Argentina? We know it's not going to happen, but if you was the president of FIFA, what would you be looking to do?
What nationality was the player who shouldn't have been sent off? What team was that? Do you know?
Switzerland, I think.
Switzerland. Yeah. Okay.
Switzerland, yes.
It's a difficult question, isn't it? I think the best punishment, because when you think at the end of that game as well, how some of their players and coaches, I think, attacked some of the Spanish players, particularly one or two very young players, sort of 21-year-olds with hands around their neck. I mean, you wouldn't find a more disgraceful performance by a team having lost any match, let alone a final. There should be decorum and graciousness in defeats. You've got to learn, and you've got to show your younger players watching on and younger fans that you can lose graciously, magnanimously. You don't, it's not win at all costs. And I think because Argentina felt they were destined to win that, and whatever we may say or think, they would have known just by what happened that they were being favoured. They would. I mean, Messi must always get the feeling, if he's honest, that he is looked after. And why not? He's a great player. He's a very good footballer. But that kind of sense of we're special, even FIFA look after us, and things seem to go our way every time. That can become kind of an assumed benefit to your team. Now, how can they be punished? Well, it was a World Cup final, and at the end of that game, as we say, it was disgraceful what Argentina did, some of their players, and even all of them, apart from one, turning their back when the cup was presented and all the confetti goes up. I forget the name, but one Argentina guy did turn round and look, and he defended himself, and good luck to him, because Argentina fans, they're very vocal and very militant in support of their team. So he probably got it in the neck from some of the team themselves for doing that. But good luck to him for showing some sportsmanship. But anyway, the best punishment for Argentina, thankfully, was meted out by Spain. Because if Argentina had won, well, of course, if they won, they wouldn't have been pushing players over and punching them at the end of the match. So we wouldn't have seen that, but we would still have seen their way through the competition, the tournament, being favoured. And that doesn't go right down well with people, especially when you see Messi and others as well, falling over the floor, having not literally been touched. And when Fernandez was sent off, something I picked up at the time on the television, the foul was appalling. I mean, the guy was spinning through the air, the Spanish player. And when it was quite obvious, even though it was Argentina, the ref had no choice really but to send him off. At that moment, when Fernandez put his, all this stuff they do, whatever they do that for, another Argentina player fell over, just sat down, fell out as if he'd been poleaxed. And as the ref was, Fernandez was starting arguing with the ref, Messi, the captain, kept the ref pointing, oh, we got an injured player over there. And I remember saying here, he's not injured. He fell over because he saw what was about to happen to Fernandez.
Mm.
And that, they're all in it together. And we know, despite everything, Argentina are a good football team. They were up against a much better football team in Spain, thankfully, because I think the world wouldn't have wanted Argentina to win. And whatever they may say, they know that. They know this massive petition, 23 million voted for them to be dumped out of the next tournament. And
Mm.
whatever bravado comments you might come out with, you know that there's a good reason why many people, millions of people, think that after crass behaviour, dangerous behaviour at the end of a football match, which was kind of condoned by FIFA, because unless I've missed it, I'm not yet aware of any comment from FIFA about any punishment. All we've heard is that they're actually hosting a game and they get automatic entry to the next one. It's almost rubbing this all in the faces of the people who voted to throw them out and the rest of us as well, because no one could condone their behaviour. So that's the thing. Thankfully, they lost, and the right side of things won the day. I still think there should be some sanction from FIFA to acknowledge what they did, what Argentina did, but they probably don't want to do it because in doing that, they will. You never know what might come out of the woodwork. If there was a kind of an unsaid agreement, unspoken agreement that Argentina are being favoured, FIFA will know that could come out, that even within their own ranks, if they
Mm.
start pointing the finger at Argentina and punishing them in some way, you never know what could be said about stuff that Infantino may have said, or anybody might have said. Look, we do want Messi in the final, and it may have been no more than that an aspiration which you can understand. Why would you not want the best player in the world? Arguably, why would you not want him to be there through the tournament? Because if he goes early on, the tournament loses something. So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's only wrong if you then gear things, change things to Argentina's advantage.
Mm.
What would I do now? I mean, maybe the only option really is a huge fine. A
Mm.
really, big fines tend not to worry footballers in the top end of things, let alone the clubs. You find one of today's rich clubs, I don't know, 10 million, 20 million, it probably wouldn't scratch the surface. But if you find Argentina and their international body, I don't know, what would I say, £50 million or whatever their currency is, that could hurt a bit. It could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Uh,
but then what do we know? I don't think FIFA would do that. I mean,
no.
there would probably be a huge appeal. It might go to law and all the rest of it. So at the end of the day, I expect it will all be quietly forgotten and things move on, which ultimately is not a bad way forward, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, this one is a crazy fact. Manchester United remain the only Premier League Big Six club to have never signed a 100 million player. The club has spent over 2.1 billion on transfers since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, but has never broken the 100 million barrier. How have they done it?
Now what?
How have they done it?
Yeah, I don't know. But let's face it, they've been in a time of flux, really, the last few years. whether we say going back to Alex Ferguson, I mean, he retired, I think, in 2013. So it's 13 years ago. And that's a bit of a lifetime in footballers' terms, isn't it? The actual lifespan of a top football player. But they've never really, the club has never really hit a real settle patch, I think, in that time. I don't know how many managers they've had. It's got to be quite a few. And they
Mm.
might say no one really sort of fitted the bill. And I think as well, the what's the name of the owners? Glazers, isn't it? Is it
Glaziers,
the
yeah.
Glazers? Yeah.
Glaziers,
I
yeah.
mean, I think there's still probably a lot of fans would still like the club to have different ownership. So that maybe that inhibits things. But I think Man United, they've got the money. They're a rich club. And
Mm.
if a player was on the market who they wanted, I think they've still got the pull of being one of the most famous and probably one of the richest clubs in the world. And that is a pull to players. Even now, I think if you get wanted by Manchester United, either in this country or abroad, I think it's still got that magic about going to that club with all its history and achievements. So I think that it could have happened if a top player became available. I mean, they could, for example, have gone for Anderson
Mm.
and paid 100+ million possibly. But I don't know. You never know whether the owners are being a bit careful what money is spent. They obviously have to look at the financial fair play rules. They call that different things now. But
Mm.
I mean, if they spent 2.1 billion
Mm.
in 13 years, that's a lot of money. So some of them must have been a bit close, I would have thought, to 100 million, if not
Yeah,
over it, sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, Jadon Sanchez was 83 million.
Yeah, yeah. And that
I
always
still,
strikes us as a bit strange because
it
we've never
does.
really seen the best of him. He's obviously got
Yeah.
something, but he's not really displayed that too much, has he?
No, no. Now, Zinedine Zidane.
Zinedine Zidane, yeah.
Zinedine Zidane. I think that's the correct way to pronounce it. Now, he said France had a magnificent journey at the World Cup, and he is the next French manager. I think Didier Deschamps or whatever. He's
Yeah.
he's resigned, not resigned maybe, but left. Let's put it that way. Now, Zinedine Zidane, the next manager, is saying, "Hang on a minute, France had a magnificent journey at the World Cup." Now, does he have a point there? Because I have a point. My point is, why aren't we saying that about England? Because we beat France. So he's
In
saying,
in the in the bronze job he won it in the playoff.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think a couple of things. First thing I would just say, I was very surprised about Mbappe after they lost to Spain after the tournament. I think he was really quite critical of Deschamps, who was a good manager for some years with the national side, and of course a great player as well,
mm,
internationally and otherwise. And I would say up until that game with Spain,
mm,
France were. I would have said they were one of the best teams on display. They were like textbook. They just seemed on their game, and the passing was brilliant. I felt it looked a bit like a textbook team. So to
mm,
me, that must mean I really rated their play. So I can see what Zidane means when he says that they had a very good run, and yet when it came to the semi final,
mm,
they lost their way. I mean, perhaps simply because Spain were a better team. Spain really came good as the
mm,
tournament went on. They timed it all very well. But France, maybe they peaked a bit early, but Spain outplayed them. And I suppose the lack of confidence that came from that, that's what we
mm,
kind of remember. And of course, England, we beat them. The first half, it was like the French players didn't want to know. They'd rather have been somewhere else. But clearly they were bumped up at half time, and they played much better and made it an exciting 6-4 game in the second half. So
Hmm.
I agree with Zidane for what it's worth, um, that they did have a good run and deserved that praise from him. I wouldn't I wouldn't say the same for England. I would say it in the sense that we got to the semi-final, and maybe that's what Zidane meant. I get the impression he meant a bit more than that. But I think it's generally accepted that, apart from playing Croatia in the first game, and we had a very good, most of the first half was very good.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, we're going to take some beating after that game. We're going to. I bet other clubs think they wish they had a Kane and a Bellingham, because we looked the business. We looked on it, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be the time it happens.
Hmm.
But it somehow didn't. We kind of faded a bit in and out. We had some good moments. Some of the players played well in different games. But whether it was because Tuchel, when we won the Croatia game, he still changed the starting lineup for the next game. We that was may have been the difficult one against Ghana, but we beat Panama well. But each time we won, he changed it. It will be by two or three players to start,
Hmm.
which I don't understand. If your team's winning, okay, you may make the odd substitution, but if the team wins, start that team again, because maybe what we lacked was that sixth sense that footballers develop in each other, knowing
Hmm.
where their colleagues are going to be on the pitch. And if you don't play the same team, I think for a few months before the tournament, you're never going to get that extra knowledge of each other's games, because that's sort of the 1%, 2% things that can make a difference to the result.
Hmm.
And I think until we actually play a team that we get pretty much as we want it, as a manager wants it, a couple of months before a tournament, Euros or
Hmm.
World Cup, I don't think we're going to win it, because, and
Hmm.
especially if you're a manager who, like Tuchel, he came and kept changing it. And, by putting on loads of different subs, I don't think it works. So I still think he potentially is a good manager, and we should certainly give him his chance at the Euros. We might be pleasantly surprised and find we actually win it. But I have a hunch if we do the same things, we're going to get the same results. And
Yeah.
if the same things involve, you know, um, changing the team, the starting lineup when it won the previous game, I
Hmm.
think that's a problem.
Absolutely. Right. So this is all we've got time for. Do you want to conclude for us, please, bro?
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a lot of things we discussed today, especially as there's no football going on at the moment. So I think we've looked at things which we've reflected on the World Cup, and maybe next week we'll be looking at the coming season to see what we think may happen. Anyhow, I'm Trevor Gear, and he calls me bruv,
And I'm Emmy Hickins, and he calls me Cuz. It's a goodbye from me.
and a goodbye from me too.